It's an investigation. THV 11 has been working for nearly a week. Alleged possible police harassment in England. A video showing the interaction with police and a group of young men has now gone viral. And THV 11's Winnie Wright has been on this story from the very beginning and spoke exclusively with the man who shot the video. She joins us now with what you need to know. Winnie?
People in England were asking today, is this an isolated incident or a systematic problem? The men involved say they did nothing wrong and think both the officer and the chief should be held accountable.
With all the racial discrimination that's going on across the world, it's like, will I be another victim? Will I be a statistic?
On July 21st, DeMarcus Bunch and his cousin Shannon Scribner were in their hometown of England, Arkansas to shoot a music video. Bunch says from the first moments they entered the small town, Officer Michael Moore was following closely.
He drove through and he noticed that we were parked over there. He kind of just slowed down, and I guess to see who we were. He then went up to the stoplight. He went down that street and he came back across the gravel there. Then he parked right over there in the grass, and he just sat there up until, we left.
Feeling uncomfortable, Bunch says he and the crew drove to their final destination, the neighborhood where they grew up.
I mean, initially I was like wondering, why is he doing this? We're in, small England. Everybody knows everybody.
The officer pulled in shortly after them.
And he slowed down again, just staring to see what we were doing. So that's when my cousin and he said, hey man, let's go let him know who we are and what we're doing.
Bunch and Scribner's uncle is also an England police officer. The cell phone video taken by Bunch picks things up from there.
I'm Mike Moore. All right.
We're Dale Scribner's nephew.
Yeah, we there just trying to record a video.
We just noticed you've been following us everywhere.
Right now?
Yeah.
You know why? Because you don't belong in my city.
We from here.
But you understand, I know who my people are, right? Who belongs here, who doesn't?
Who don't?
We got gang wars going on. We got all kinds of stuff. And I come from the big city where this stuff's small.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's cool. Oh, yeah. Do your thing.
Oh, yeah. We don't. You said we don't belong in your city, though?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. I have never seen you here before, and I know almost everybody here.
Man, I grew up in 101.
Well, good.
I graduated from England High.
Well, good for you. My name's Mike Moore.
You all right?
Okay? I'm not from here. Step away from my car. I'm about to get my dog out there.
The officer stayed in the area for nearly 3 minutes. Where did y'all go from there? How did you decide what you were going to do?
I talked it over with my uncle, and that's when, he kind of took matters into his hands.
His uncle, Kevin Scribner, suggested they reach out to EPD Chief Dana Powell directly.
We wanted to give the chief the opportunity to actually perform her investigation, and so we held the video close to our chest and waited for her to provide a response.
It has been 15 days since the men filed their official complaint. They say they still haven't received their copies or the findings of the police harassment investigation. Tuesday, they released the video online. Chief Powell would not agree to go on camera. Throughout my investigation, I found that Officer Michael Moore came to EPD from the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office. He was terminated from his role there. Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley told me this, quote, "It is not a race issue, it is a personality issue. He was terminated from Lonoke County Sheriff's Office because he couldn't get along with other officers and other agencies."
We were here in October. We went to the homecoming football game. We left the football game early because of the weather. And so I decided to take my wife for a drive around town.
Roselle Aaron is a former EPD officer and community activist that has also filed a complaint against the police department. He says the issues are systemic and from the top down.
Summarized version of what happened was an investigative stop. I told him, I said, well, I used to be a cop. He says, where? I said, right here in England. I said, you don't have the right or probable cause to pull me over. Turner says, well, I'm concerned about the safety of one of my officers that said that you have been following him around with your lights on high beam. We hadn't been following anyone around.
I hope he's terminated and never able to work in law enforcement again. And personally, I feel like the chief should be held accountable as well for allowing him to, even continue to work as long as he's worked after the initial showing of the video.
Chief Powell told me that she'd give me a press release, but I haven't gotten it yet. I did try to reach Officer Moore, but all media requests must first go through the chief.